live for the 247 FC Awards, the 2022 247 FC Awards, because this is going to be an annual tradition now. It is the first ever award show, though, by us. Look at Ryan puffing out his chest.
I was
showing off that fit.
We're running around here, trying to all get ready. Luke just strolls in whenever he wants for 4 seconds.
And
before
I'm camera
we go
ready.
live.
Look at this. I'm already camera ready.
He looks and smells amazing, I got to say.
Appreciate that.
He walked in and it was like, whew, just a waft of goodness.
Rockstar. Waft of goodness.
Old Spice Pure Sport body spray works every time.
That's the move. That's the move. I like it. You guys got matching shirts, which is adorable. That's very cute.
Hey,
Jim, are you wearing an?
It's like we shop
shirt?
at the same.
It is. I thought we discussed this earlier.
Photo, late Christmas photo.
I'm changing my name to Buck.
Oh yeah.
So
this
it's
is now
Buck Mooney, because aren't I talking about Gym of the Year? So there can only be one Gym of the Year. So I'm now Buck.
Right. He's now Buck Mooney. So that's a good time. So guys, this was, credit where it's due, all Ryan's idea. Ryan mentioned this
Genius.
maybe 2 months ago. I'm not sure. Not a super long time ago, but we started planning for it, and it just really took on a life of its own. From the second you were like, we should have an award show, then it was, we should have fan votes. Well, we should vote too. We should, and then it just kept snowballing. We should do a live announcement show. Like, it just kept snowballing as we went.
This was all stuff that's been in the head.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah. So this was the year. I mean, this was a phenomenal year for MMA in Pittsburgh. I think we can all say that we had our favorite moments for sure. We had how many shows did we have this year? 7?
7 shows.
7 awesome shows.
Crazy.
A lot of new coming amateurs. I will say this is the year that made me take note of, like, that next wave is really coming, like really coming fast. So it's a great time to be an MMA fan in Pittsburgh.
It's a really fun time. Like, jump on the bandwagon right now.
Yeah,
folks,
seriously.
because the getting is good right now, and you can talk to even people that like aren't involved and just see us from afar, and they're all taking note, man.
I love that. Yeah. It's cool. It's really cool, man. We hear it from the fighters, promoters, outside gyms, inside gyms, man. Things are going well right now, and this is going to be a celebration of everybody that helps us do what we do as well, because without the gyms, without the fighters, without the amazing fights, knockout submissions, we don't exist. So thank all of you who stepped in that cage, coaches and fighters alike. Put it all on the line. I know the preparation for a fight is insane. It's stressful. It's taxing. It's costly. It's everything. So we appreciate you guys, and I hope that the winners are proud of winning. Like, I know a lot of guys went out and really rallied votes. Julian Flannery, I'm going to just start by shouting out Julian Flannery, man. He went on an all-out vote assault with his fans, and it was awesome.
It was awesome. And one thing you forgot, listen, we have the world's greatest sponsors, and that was no seriously.
No,
we listed off the fans, our sponsors. We owe them. We're so indebted to them. 2 years ago, when the pandemic happened, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, right. 2 years.
2020.
2 years ago, when the pandemic happened, not a single one of our sponsors came to us and said, "Hey, can we get our money back? Can we?" Like, they all understood that, like, we were in life and death with, the company, and so having those sponsors that have continued to pour into us, and those guys are heroes. And
Yeah, for sure.
They are constantly contributing to 247 and to MMA in Pittsburgh. So big shout out to all of our sponsors. We're going to name them all by name throughout the show. But ultimately, like, they're a huge part of what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I was laughing not because you were wrong, but because what a horrible company, man, that is to forget about sponsors or the.
Well, you were just rattling things off.
Yeah.
You're not reading a list, like,
right.
So
right.
it's easy to forget. But
we're unscripted here.
We are.
Yeah. I'm pumped. I don't know. Are we just going to dive right in? Are we just going?
Well, I want to talk about what was unvoted for.
Yeah, go for that.
So we there are certain things that you don't need to have a vote for because it's factual, right? One of those things is, there's certain people, there's certain fighters that are kind of really always pushing. They're always pushing ticket sales. They're always pushing. They're always promoting. And those are the most valuable people, the MVPs, the cream of the crop. They are the VIPs of. They're the reason why we can do what we do. They're the reason why there are so many people in the seats. There are fighters that don't sell any tickets. And listen, like, I get that you might just want to fight, but ultimately, like, someone's making up for that because we don't get to where we're at by. I mean, the promotion itself sells tickets, but when you have a great crowd, that's because the fighters were selling tickets. And so those are our VIPs. Those are our MVPs. And the funny thing is, Hunter, you can kind of make fun of me here.
Luke and I are going to join in on that also. Yeah. We're not going to just
not knowing anything of what's going on. We're
Yeah.
just going to be fanboys making fun of you. Yeah.
Well, ultimately, the category was supposed to be called MVP. And what nobody knows, other than outside of some people here, is one of the reasons why we timed things the way we did with the voting and with the, with this date was, other than Hunter, like, making other plans or something. But
I wouldn't do that.
But one of the reasons why there was a time lapse between them is because we ordered trophies. So those trophies, I was hoping would be here today, but they're going to arrive tomorrow. But those trophies are all going to be presented throughout. We're going to kind of go around to the different gyms over the course of the next couple of weeks and present them with their trophies and take pictures and do all that cool stuff. But ultimately, when I went to order the trophies, I put VIP on there instead of MVP, and ultimately that so it's now VIP, which is kind of the same thing, but ultimately it's not. It was supposed to be VIP.
It's similar.
MVP.
Yeah.
I'm still confusing it.
So it's like very important payouts with the commissions that they get.
Well,
right?
And that's the
pivot.
thing. These are guys that are making significant money. When you start getting into the higher dollar amounts of ticket sales, you start making good money off of those ticket sales, and so those percentages get higher as you sell away. And so our VIPs, we have a pro and an AMI, and these weren't voted on. These are just what they are. And then we also have a co VIP pro and a co VIP amateur, because ultimately I really appreciate the work that goes into, like, listen, I'm going to be straight up, like, nobody likes pushing tickets. There's not a single fighter that enjoys selling tickets. These are the guys that do it anyway, and we could not be more appreciative of them. And if you're a competitive person and you're fighting for us, which most of you are, you should be fighting for MVP or VIP, whichever it happens to be next year, because these are the true warriors. So without further ado, our pro VIP in the first award for the 2022 247 awards is Kama, the Death Star worthy.
Wow.
Kama brings it every show, sells a billion tickets. Not a billion, but like at least 100 million.
Nice.
Am I kicking you?
He averaged somewhere in the range of $10,000 sold per show. And so, wow. And thank you. And as you know, a personal friend of mine, Kama's done a lot for this organization. He's been there for us through thick and thin, and love the guy. Kama Worthy, our pro VIP.
Nice. I want to real quick, Ryan.
Yeah,
I want to
go ahead.
interject. I wasn't being rude, guys. If you saw me on my phone, we had a lot of people texting saying the audio was super low, but we have since fixed that issue. I believe it seems like it sounded good. So I just want to say, in the beginning, we were just talking smack on all of our haters and giving you a list of our fears. So if you missed that, I'm really sorry that you couldn't hear that part of the show. But yeah, everything else, it seems like is sounding good now. So that's good. Sorry about that. Honestly, we were just giving shout outs and thanking everybody for being a part of this and being involved. So if you guys if it was still low for that announcement, the Pro VIP, not MVP, but VIP is, the Death Star worthy. All right, Ryan, lead us to the next one.
All right, the VIP for Pro. This guy has really come on. He has really stepped up and gone from, within 247, from a great amateur to now a great pro. He's on a tear, winning, quite a few fights in a row now, and now he's ready to step in the cage again in April, the April 15th show, which tickets are on sale at 247fighting.com. A guy who a friend of mine as well, and love them. And so the co-MVP is Justin the General Patton.
Beautiful. I mean, like Ryan said, yeah, I was waiting on it too. I definitely thought Danny Palm was going to be on that applause game. Give it to us, Danny.
Too late, Danny.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. A little delayed, but it's all right. It's all right.
So thank you guys. Those guys do incredible numbers. They're always pushing. They're pushing hard. They're always working. And these, listen, like I said, no one wants to. They do.
Right. I want to add one thing to that, and that's if you've seen either of them fight live, the atmosphere during their fight is insane. Like, everybody knows when it's a Justin Patton fight or a Kama Worthy fight, the things obviously go hand in hand when you think about it. Yeah, yes. You sell more tickets, more fans show up to support you, but it's a very tangible thing in the arena is what I'm trying to emphasize.
It's contagious.
It really is.
You become the crowd's favorite because,
Right. Yeah. It just makes for an all-around more spectacular night. So thank you both, Kama and Justin. You guys are awesome.
Time for the Ammies. Mm-hmm. So the amateur. So I intended on just having one of each, but like Justin Patton, he just did such an awesome job, and the co amateur VIP also did a great job. So that's why I added both. The AMI VIP, so happy to have him on board with 247 Fighting Championships. He's really impressed a lot of people, and he's become a quick fan favorite. And when I say quick, I mean like quick. And that is Miguel Francisco. Really just did phenomenal. His first show with us was at Brawl in the Berg 12, I believe, or 14.
Right? I don't know. That's a great question.
It was one of the Meadows shows, and it was the 12. It was 12 because it was our first show. No, was it 14?
14 was his most recent one, right? Or did he just fight at 15?
No, he fought
14.
So 14 and 15? Anyway.
Sometime in the 2022 season, he fought.
Yeah. He did such a great job selling tickets, promoting the events. Like, so proud of him. And not only that, but the dude looked awesome. He looked so awesome that he is now in line for a 135-pound title fight, and we're so excited about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Miguel Francisco.
Hey, nailed it that time. A little practice. He got it. Yeah.
And the next one is a guy who made his debut. So this guy made his debut, and he only fought for us once, but it was so impactful, not only within the cage, but with ticket sales and with he just did such a phenomenal job. It had to be recognized. The 2022 247 Awards Co-AMI VIP is Clayton Hoot Lee.
Nice. Woo. Hoot. We are definitely excited to see what Hoot Lee's got moving forward. That's a super promising career. Once again, one of those guys who's entertaining in and out of the cage, obviously with the sales. And again, at that event, I believe that was BitB 14, it was a turning point in the night for setting the tone in that arena. I remember we all privately told each other the energy in the arena from that fight kicked up to 11 and then just stayed there. Like they brought the entire night up to a different level with that fight. And shout out Dan Walters as well. It takes two to tango, and he was totally game to throw down and put on a great show. and he sold a decent amount of tickets himself. So when you get two guys who are selling, bringing crowds, and they were even on opposite ends of the arena, sitting from each other, it's pretty fun. So that was a really cool moment. Yeah, who leads them in?
And for any amateurs making make a splash in as O&O as debut, you sell a lot of tickets, then people get excited for you. I remember being on the commentating team, and he starts walking down. The fans go nuts because he sold a lot of tickets. People are excited to see him. Plus, he comes out of gym. People are a lot excited to see. Not Jim, Buck Jim, but Jim. James. Yeah. Anyhow, and so that's something I can recommend to people. If you're looking to make a debut, sell a lot of tickets coming in. It gets fans excited. We ended up doing a shout out as he was walking in, like, hey, people are excited to see him because the crowd was going nuts because he had put the work in, not only in the gym, but also in selling tickets. So I remember that moment. It really does kick up the energy, particularly on a debut where you don't necessarily have a lot on the person as they come in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's nothing a promoter likes more than sitting there and hearing a crowd erupt for a fighter. I mean, that's music to our ears. That shows us that you're a partner of ours. Like, you're making money, we're making money. Like, let's all do this together. And so, huge shout out to these four. I mean, huge shout out to all the fighters that are selling tickets and pushing hard and asking all their friends and being annoying and bothering. Like, that's part of the game.
I hear so many of my friends or family members that I get to come to their first fight. Just come support the cause, come check it out. And they are 100% of the time excited to tell me, like, oh, I was sitting next to so-and-so's uncle and it made it so much more fun. Like, they were rowdy, they were crazy. Like, when you bring people for you, you not only energize, like, the people who supported you, but you create new fans that way too. It's contagious, like Ryan said. So, yeah, shout out those guys, the VIPs. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you, and we look forward to working with all of you in the future, except for Kama, since he retired.
I mean,
you never know, though.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know on his end. You never know on our end because there could be opportunities outside of MMA. Who knows? Those
very true
possibilities all exist.
Very, very true. I think it is time, Ryan Middleton and company, to get to the actual voted on awards. We've got 10 categories for you guys. Is this list in order? We're starting with...
No.
Okay. What are we starting with? Do you know?
He knows. It doesn't
Danny
matter.
Palm knows?
Does he have something queued up for us?
It's not going to be on the TV, but you guys are going to be able to see it on the stream. Man. Ryan wanted to get fancy, so I tried to work some fancy stuff. Play it, Danny Palm. Nice. So I hope you guys could see that. Let us know. Text me if you guys are watching. Text me and let me know if that worked. Well, like I said, it's the studio's new for us. Technology's a little new for us, especially when it's live. You got to do things a little bit differently. So I think we set that up properly. That you guys should have just seen a video introducing new Gym of the Year with all the nominees listed. Had some incredible nominees, and we are starting off with an absolute plot twist right off the bat. Because I've got the winners right here, ladies and gentlemen. We have Amvier's Boxing Academy and co-winners. It was literally a tie, and we're not going to pick favorites in this one. Henzo Gracie Morgantown. Shout out you guys, man, because Henzo Gracie Morgantown, a little blue corner. Chance Grillo has fought for us several times at this point. We're very appreciative of him and that team. Tony Monich, the head coach there. You guys are awesome. Henzo Gracie Morgantown's been amazing to work with, and we definitely hope to get some Warrior fighters in the future, have Chance back, of course, and just continue to build the relationship. And then Amvier's is for sure they came on hot at the end of the year. Glenn Christner, Colton Musgrove, Matt Vanderhoff, Nathan Kubaski last year hasn't been back, but he's somebody that after his debut, I know that we all looked at like, man, Nathan's going to be awesome to keep getting back. And I could say that about everybody at Amviers. So shout out you guys and the head coach, Aldo. Aldo's the man. Aldo, we said it on a different podcast, but I don't think Aldo's ever turned down a fight. We've proposed they take hard, tough, difficult fights. I mean, Matt Vanderhoff stepped up to fight Julian Flannery. They never blinked an eye. They wanted that fight. Spoiler alert, nobody really loves to fight Julian Flannery, you might note. But Matt Vanderhoff was game. Amviers is definitely hitting their stride. They went 2-0 at BitB 15, so they're entering 2023 with a lot of momentum. Shout out you guys, Amviers, Henzo Gracie Morgantown, new gym of the year. Congratulations, guys. Cool.
That's what are your guys' thoughts on the new gyms?
So, I'm in agreement, and I was looking over this list shortly before the show, because shortly before the show is when we got the list. We didn't really have time to prepare for this, but I made some notes.
Did you ask for the list when?
Yes, 2 months ago.
I feel prepared, just so you know.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
So this is just a quick breakdown of what it took to become one of the newcomer gyms of the year, and I just wrote down some stuff on Amviers. Did we settle on the pronunciation?
That's what Glenn Christner said when I had him in on the podcast. I asked him because I never knew how to say it either, and he said something that I believe was Amviers, which surprises me. And I don't know if he knew either, to be honest. We need to ask Aldo next time.
Yeah. Aldo's gym, or we just go with ABF.
There we go.
No matter how it's pronounced, they're the winners. So that's
right.
Co-winners.
So like I started with Kabaski. So he didn't fight for us this year, but his debut was against a 1-0 last year towards the end of 2021. His opponent is now 3-1. So It's not like he fought a tomato can standing across from him. So he was fighting high-level talent in his debut bout. Next, we got Colton Musgrove. Colton is 1-1. His debut was a loss. Short-lived. It was illegal strikes, but Aldo didn't want him sulking and moping and hanging his head over that. And it was a quick turnaround. It was like 2.5 months he came back. So that was BitB 13 for his debut loss to illegal strikes. BitB 15, he comes back and he wins in what was a tremendous bout against Tim von Biedenfeld.
Yep. Nailed it.
Unanimous decision. Then we got Glenn Christner, 1-1 on the year. Same thing. He fought at BitB 13. His debut was a unanimous decision loss. Comes back 2.5 months later with his teammate. He puts up a unanimous decision win. Then you got Matt Vanderhoff. Early in the year, makes his debut against a truck, and that truck was coming full speed, and it stopped at 10 seconds of the first round. So there was no time to sleep. Aldo said you got to get back up on the horse. He comes back 2.5 months later, ironically, and he wins by a first-round stoppage. So Aldo doesn't let these guys, slow down. He doesn't let them take cupcake bouts.
Man.
He's pushing his team, and like you said, Hunter, he's not going to throw his guys in harm's way, but he wants
them
it's
tested.
Time to to show what you're made of, and what better way to do it than against top talent.
And I didn't realize Ricky Clayball was now 3-1 out of Knoxville MMA. Super talented gym, super talented kid. So it doesn't surprise me though, because he showed definite skills in that fight. So he's 3-1. Julian Flannery, who beat Matt, is 4-0, and the guy who beat Glenn Christner, Billy Myers, is still 1-0, I believe. But he's a stud collegiate wrestler. He has a very bright career ahead of him if he wants it. So to Jim's point, I just want to emphasize Jim's point there, Buck's point, excuse me. That they're fighting the toughest of the tough as well. So, yeah, shout out Amviers and Henzo Gracie Morgantown, new gyms of the year. Awesome. You know what? I'm going to take that a step further, actually. I'm not moving on yet because we're giving all this love to them taking tough fights. Chance Grillo fought Ferdoz Naimi and Miguel Francisco out of Henzo Gracie Morgantown. So they're just as down to take hard fights, arguably the 2 top amateur fighters in Pittsburgh. So, yeah, shout out Chance for always taking the tough fights as well.
And the beautiful thing about this is, we have 5 nominees. Every single one of those nominees is worthy of being nominated.
Facts.
There were 2 that we determined are winners, but everyone there is a winner. Like, we love working with all of them. We look forward to many years together, building up this machine we have going on, and so excited to work with them. So Deepwater, High Ground, and TCA, like, we love you guys. Keep up the great work. We love working with you, and yeah.
You love to see it. Well put, Ryan. Well put. We've got another fun category coming up next for you guys. In the same vein of new gym of the year, somebody new to the scene, new on the block, we've got amateur newcomer of the year. That's an amateur who made his amateur debut in 2022 and fought for us, obviously. Who we got? Who's got this one?
What was the minimum qualification for this? I think you had to have 2 fights with us. 2 fights
with us, I believe, was the qualification, yes. And be local as well. That was a qualification. Yes. So there were some blue corners who debuted and had 2 fights for us. And it's not to say we don't appreciate you, because that certainly is not the case. We certainly do appreciate you coming all the way out, putting on a show. I personally love when we get repeat blue corners where you can build a relationship with them. It's a really good feeling, really strong kind of relationship as you build. So that's awesome. But this is all local fighters that were nominated.
And when we say local, we're referring to, like, at max, like a 2-hour travel time here. Like, we consider Altoona to be like the edge of that, and basically pretty much Western Pennsylvania inward from that.
Yep. And earlier I said how the new wave is coming. When you see the list of names right here, you guys are going to see exactly what I mean.
It's super impressive. Let's watch the video.
Roll the tape. All right.
That was an awesome video. Dylan Cole is the man. We can't see it in studio, but we know you can because we got text messages saying you could.
Yeah. So that's awesome. It's kind of funny in here, guys. Whenever that's playing, we're all trying to be totally silent and everything. So we don't really know when the video's over until Danny Palm prompts us. So part of the learning process for us as well here in the new studio, but we're making it work. Who's got this one? Who's got the envelope?
Buck's got
this one. Okay.
So just running down this list real quick. For the newcomers, we got Tim Bailey at 2-1, Elijah Davis 2-1, Joe LaRocca 1-1, Clayton Hootley.
Yeah,
right?
Apparently
He's
the qualifications aren't 2 fights.
Yeah, so there's that. James Padmore at 2-0, Lucas Siebert at 2-0, and Tony Welsh at 2-0. So Tim Bailey, he was 2-1, but he was 0-1 outside of 247. Yep. The exciting thing that I see for us here is we got a ton of talent, and I'm excited to get them on the next card.
It's insane.
So and there's people that didn't qualify or didn't make this list that are uber talented too. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm super. So I want to mention one thing, Ryan. Like, you and I have talked about this in the past, and like him and I have
to you before.
No, what's because I'm Buck. You have never spoken with
Jim.
What happened to Buck? What do you? Did I miss something?
Do you not see his flannel? Only a Buck would wear that flannel.
Yeah. So, you know, we Ryan and I used to hang out years ago. We don't anymore because it's obvious why. But we used to watch all the UFC pay-per-views, and just like to fast forward to now, we talked about like Pipe Dream getting to this point, and regional MMA was part of the conversation. And one of the things I remember Ryan saying, just like it was like 5 minutes ago, it doesn't move the needle for me. And this is Ryan saying he had no interest in regional MMA.
It still doesn't move the needle.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So now, like what used to be household names for us and things that we could talk about, just like that, you throw out a name and we could talk for hours, literally, about
UFC guys.
Yeah. Now our household names and the guys that we could talk about and carry on is regional MMA. And like this is where it starts. This is how you get to, I don't want to say the next level, because the guys that are fighting pro, they're right there. They just haven't had the recognition yet. So we are trying to be the launch pad for them to get to the better paydays and the recognition for years of hard work and what they've been going through along with their coaches and teammates.
Okay, so let's do something fun here. Before you announce the winner, who here doesn't know who won?
I truly don't know who
You don't
won.
know?
Truly don't.
No,
Yeah.
You three don't know. Okay.
Yeah. None of us know.
Okay, so let's, like, I'm not asking for your pick. I'm asking for who you think won. Like, what's your prediction for the winner? Like, based on, you know, what you think the voting will be, what you think that, like.
Funny enough, I
That's
don't.
a long list of guys.
Yeah, that's
It's
a great
list.
Yeah.
list
It's
of guys.
so good. Funny enough, I don't even remember who I picked. I don't think. I'm looking at them and I'm like, did I pick him, or him? There's so many worthy guys.
Okay, you're cowarding out.
I'm saying, I'm getting off the fence, and I'm saying I think Lucas Siebert is going to take this one.
Okay.
I went with Tim Bailey.
Tim Bailey? Great.
Well, I actually heard from Lucas Siebert this morning. He was super pumped, so I'm sure he's watching. Hi, Lucas. Sniper Siebert. And he was pointing out to me, because I always appreciate when fighters reach out to me and we chat and stuff, but he was pointing out to me that he feels like he's done a lot in the cage. Obviously, he's 2-0. I feel, me personally, any of the 2-0 guys, so that's James, Lucas, and Tony. But since Lucas took the time to text me this morning, I'm going to say Lucas. But I think just impressive-wise, a 2-0 record as an AMI newcomer, to me, I would think it's one of those three guys, James, Lucas, or Tony. And I've known Tony from when he was wrestling at Waynesburg University, but I'll say Lucas.
Okay. Go
Shout
ahead.
out to Tony, too.
Let's do it.
Do we don't have drum rolls for this?
Is that a sound on there? Nah. Dang.
Can you just motorboat while I'm doing this?
Motorboat.
Okay. Here we go. So there's two cards in here. Look out. Okay, so we've got
See, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Lucas, Welsh, and Tony Siebert.
Look at you. Look
Yeah,
what you
Lucas
did there.
Siebert,
What
Lucas
is this guy
Siebert,
doing?
and Tony
Silly
Welsh.
guy.
And you know, like out of this
Perfect.
list, you could have gone with any of them.
Truly. Truly.
They're all deserving. Obviously, they're on the
Congratulations,
list. But we've got Lucas Siebert as co-AMI Newcomer of the Year, along with Tony Welsh,
Yeah.
co-Newcomer of the Year.
Incredible.
Amateur.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Luke, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, if you roll a tape back a couple minutes ago, those are the two that I ended up on, because I said out of all the long list, there are three that were undefeated, and I mentioned Lucas. Very, very impressive. We've talked about him a lot. Tony Welsh, I've known him since he was wrestling at Waynesburg. I think anybody on this list deserves it. I think it's impressive as an amateur newcomer to keep that undefeated record. Obviously, 2-0. I think all those guys are impressive. I know we've got a lot coming down the road. Buck, the matchmaker over there, has a lot of wheels turning, I know, for pretty much everybody that we're going to discuss tonight.
All of these guys are deserving. Super stoked to be a part of their journey, the beginning of their journey. Comments that I want to make. First, I want to start off with Joe LaRocca. Joe LaRocca had a really, really, really tough fight to start off against Elijah Davis. He hung in there at Flood City Fight Night 2. It was an awesome fight. And like, that's when you decide do you want to keep doing this? And he did. And he came back with fury and
You'll see it in
not
a
fury.
You'll see it in a bit.
Well, the funny thing is, it wasn't like he was just like happy to be there.
Yeah.
But in his Golden Girls shirt, like the guy
he
is
rules.
completely the most lovable. He's like a character that doesn't try to be a character. I love him. Joe LaRocca, Elijah Davis, obviously a beast. Him and Tim Bailey, like those two guys, I get so excited about every time. Clayton Lee somehow made this list because he impressed.
We
so
imagined
much.
him 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Padmore did a phenomenal job. Came to battle twice. Came out victorious. You know, setting the pace for
Both by knockout.
Yeah, both
Very
by
impressive.
knockout.
Yeah.
Super impressive. And I really felt that, you know, Lucas Siebert and Tony Welsh, like their performances is what kind of like set that a little bit different. And that's why I think those two won. There was just something special about both of them. There was something unique, and it was very apparent.
Yeah, and I think with both of them, you saw way more hype coming into the debut. With Lucas, you've got a D1 WVU wrestler transitioning to MMA. He has an article on UFC.com about him training with Matt Brown, Mark Coleman at Immortal, now at Stout. He had so much hype and was already building such a brand on Instagram. You can tell that's very important to him, that he's in this for the long haul. And then to deliver on those promises and go 2-0, that's how you kickstart a career. So when you think of Amy Newcomer, that plays into it. And Tony Welsh, obviously a Whippeal champion wrestler, collegiate wrestler himself, training now at Indio, probably the best school at translating high-level wrestlers into MMA grapplers. They like Danilo and company there have shown an incredible knack for adapting them. So I think, I don't know if that's what the voters picked up on or not, but for me, that's kind of what separated those two, was that pedigree coming in. So I think people were very excited about them. And then when they delivered on it, it just took it to a new level. And that's amazing.
Speaking of taking it to a new level. Okay, so that was awesome. Amy Newcomer was announced. So proud of all the nominees. You all deserved it. Congratulations. And to the two winners, Lucas Siebert, Tony Welsh, congratulations. And it's time to, like, I think we should come back.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Let's roll it.
That was the least sure, like, I guess you're good.
Hello, people.
Dan, so just for people watching to know what we're laughing about, when the video is playing showing the nominees, we can't see the video, so we need Danny to tell us when it's like when we're back live. And he just looked at us like maybe I don't know, you guys could talk if you want. We're like, I don't know. Does that mean we're good or not?
Boom.
Well, I have the honor here. I guess we're going to talk about it first before we jump into who won the comeback. We've got three.
It's your.
Oh,
You
very
can do what
excited.
you want.
So what I really like about this list, obviously, these are incredible comeback fighter of the year. We've got Dan Albright, Kama Worthy, and Mason DeLess. What I like about this is Kama Worthy is more of a career comeback because he was undefeated in the 247 cage in his entire career. So it's not like he was coming back that way, but more of a career resurgent after the UFC. And the other two guys in fight comebacks. The video just showed that. In my mind, obviously really stands out. Dan Albright weathering that knockdown, and then coming back, and obviously with Mason's comeback there as well. So I love the fact that you have this list is both within a fight comeback, but also the career. I think that's a great category for fighters, whether it's within a fight or within a career.
Well, and Mason's was actually like, his comeback was like, he hadn't fought in Pittsburgh in so long that it was like he's finally back fighting in front of his hometown crowd. That was his comeback, and he had a year
Twofold,
off.
he had a lot of time off.
Yeah.
This was my hardest one to pick, I will say, honestly. I remember just basically throwing a dart for this one. I have no idea who won either. So
Wow, that's
I'm excited.
Awfully unprofessional. Throw them darts. How good are you at darts?
Awful.
Why is this loose?
All right, so
Yeah, now's a great time to figure it out.
We're going to announce that I'm ready.
yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the 2022 247 Fighting Championship Award of Comeback Fighter of the Year goes to, the Death Star Worthy.
Nice.
Congratulations, came back from UFC and had, suffered 3 consecutive defeats, was looking to come back and put on a show for the hometown crowd, and boy, did he do that. Had some impressive knockouts, had some impressive fights, and wow, what a way to end a career for the Death Star in 2022.
Yep. That's who the other 2 were deserving, but that's who I went with. And like from my vantage point, the way that I looked at this was it was really a no-brainer. You take into account what Kama had experienced prior to 2022 with the 3 consecutive losses in the UFC. Obviously he doesn't want that to be like his swan song. That's how he goes out, and he's has a sour taste still left in his mouth. He comes back and he reels off two big wins with us, trying to, I see it as him trying to get like maybe another chance at a crack at the big show. So he takes a fight outside of our promotion to try and be that hurdle to get him back to another big contract again. Doesn't work out for him. So when I saw that last bout, I thought, okay, like this is a lot of pressure. Like he needs to really put on a show here. And against Josh Roller, that was no easy task because that's top talent that we had in the house for him. And it was going to be, it was going to be a monumental effort. We saw what happened that night. He finishes the year at 3-1. We didn't know this. So the added pressure to that night is he didn't tell anybody he was retiring. So in his mind, that's it. And the pressure that he's putting on himself to come out with a performance that he's going to want to hang his hat on, like doubles and triples what he had, brought into the year. And he capped it off like, storybook ending to a wonderful career.
It is just an absolute wonderful career. And my personal pick for comeback was Dan Albright. I literally thought that, and I jokingly said like Left 4 Dead, and you actually used that on the thing, on the
Real?
No, on the
Podcast? Preview? Show?
On the voting thing.
Oh, yeah.
On the form to
On
vote.
the form, yeah.
And so I like literally I was worried for his life. If Pippin's hits when he was down, if that connects, it's like it's not good.
Dude, I need to emphasize that because we had the perfect vantage point for this sitting cage side in Johnstown. Justin Pippins was like the angriest fighter I have ever seen in my life to start that second. He was terrified. I mean, he's a monster of a man, first of all. He is an intimidating figure, like just to be around. He's 6'4", he's shredded, and he came out that second round on a mission for blood. I don't know what Isaac told him in the corner between rounds, but whatever he told him got him fired up. I joked in the blog post he must have told him Hunt's ketchup was better than Heinz because that's the only kind of fury that could have been coming from there. So For Albright to survive that, yeah, I'm right with you. I think I picked that as well, but I genuinely don't remember. These are all awesome comebacks,
and just
no doubt.
Just to like wrap that up is Mason DeLass. What an impressive performance at Brawl in the Berg 15.
Oh my God!
After not fighting in front of the hometown crowd, like he should have been as nervous as he's been in a long time. He hasn't faced that hometown crowd in a long time. He hadn't fought in a year. Like he hadn't been active. And wow, what a performance. So all three of those guys were super worthy. Pun intended.
Nice.
Super worthy, comma the Death Star worthy with comeback.
And if I could say one thing about the winner, comma Death Star worthy, I had the honor of being there on the mic with him when he announced his retirement, because as you said, we didn't know that was coming. But just to tease the fight of the year, that fight was so good. We were talking about comma going up against Roller and how good of a matchup that was. They're also nominated for potential fight of the year. So not only does he win comeback of the year because of his career, but also his last show, his last fight, all that pressure on him puts on potentially the fight of the year as well.
I want to
nominee for sure.
Nomination right there.
Absolutely. Since this is live, fun stuff like this can happen. We're getting texts in real time and things like that. Lucas Siebert just texted me, and I didn't know. If you guys knew this, you're a step ahead of me. He and Tony Welsh were actually teammates at WVU for a year. He said they wrestled together for a year.
Dork, wrestling
Danny
nerd
Palm
over
knew
here
it, of course. Yeah. So they wrestled under Tim Flynn, who also coached Gregor Gillespie and Josh Koscheck at Edinburgh. So there's a lot of royalty going on there. So it's kind of fitting that Siebert and Welsh are going to share Amateur Newcomer of the Year coming as past teammates. That's pretty cool.
Very well, very well. What are we up for
Coaches of the Year, it appears.
Yeah. Let's roll it, Danny Palm. And here we are, folks.
We are back. You guys just saw some of the best coaches that Pittsburgh has to offer, and slightly abroad, Altoona, with Mr. Ray Ross and Darren Cassidy at Gorilla House. They are amazing as well. Shout out.
Well, just to kind of clarify the coaches of the year, we listed the two coaches that are most commonly cornering fighters, but this is really the coaches for these teams, this is a part of their coaching staff. So the two that get the glory are the main ones that we see cornering, but other people corner and other people but so that being said, I just wanted to clarify that real quick.
Yep. Good stuff. This one's really fun for me because, again, I genuinely don't know who I'm about to pull out of this envelope. This is fun. And this is a crazy close division. So I'm split. Who do we got? Oh, Mike Wilkins and Will Morrill from Stout, Pittsburgh. Man, yeah. I was going to say what you want to say, Ryan, because I can see that you're chomping at the bit to say something there.
No, I just wanted to hear the applause.
Okay, nice. I mean, they had 14 fights with us in 2022.
Incredible.
That alone on a coach, as you guys all know, the preparation that a coach has to go through to get their fighters ready. And then keep in mind, Stout, I don't know for sure, but I would bet Stout has the largest enrollment of a gym in Pittsburgh. The most volume of students on a regular basis.
Mixed martial arts, yeah.
Yes, so just being involved with that many people on a regular basis and then getting 14 fighters ready, and that's just for us. They're fighting for other promotions as well. So Will and Mike are going to more than 14 fights a year, just to be extremely clear. And they went 13-1 in those 14 fights. What they've done, and for sure, if you guys have watched the podcast, first off, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Secondly, you've seen a lot of Stout fighters on the podcast. Without fail and without me prompting them to say it, they all eventually talk about how instrumental Will and Mike are to their success. So you really can't overstate for those stout fighters what they mean to them. That's a super well-deserved award right there.
It's super well-deserved award. One thing I wanted to point out, right now you're watching this on 247 Live, and the really cool thing, and Hunter is actually the one that set this up, is when you go on 247 Live, if you get a subscription or you get any type of, you can view all those fights. You can actually go and search fights by teams. So you can go to Stout, you can go to Mat Factory, you can go to Academy, you can go to Indio, you can go to Grill House, any one of those gyms, and search their fights, and it'll list all of that gym's fights from our entire history. It's pretty cool. So
That's sweet.
That being said, you can go in and see the work that these guys have done. It's pretty incredible, pretty amazing. All like we said, all of these we don't put people as nominees because we want to be nice.
Right.
We put them there because they've earned it. They've deserved it. And so this list is awesome. And Mike Wilkins and Will, like, what an incredible job. Congratulations to our coaches of the year.
When what I think is interesting is when you look at this list, like each of the schools has, I don't want to say has their own niche, but like we see them in a certain way where they might favor something, you know, with Mat Factory, heavy wrestling, with Stout, you know.
I would challenge that. I would say Mat Factory, heavy grappling. I think they're just as strong in jiu-jitsu.
Sure, yeah.
In their grappling game.
Yeah. I what comes to mind first, but yeah, like they're strong in all areas. But you know, we could go down the list, and each of them has something that stands out and stands out separately from the others. Then you add on the new gym of the year, and this is just a list, you know, a short list of, you know, many more schools to come that are going to continue to help us build MMA in Western PA.
And the goal is to not only for them to help us, the goal is for us to help them too.
Right.
We want to help them to get more enrollment, to get bigger, because that helps them. But it's a cyclical thing. It just returns as more people get involved in the sport, more people enjoy, and it just grows the whole thing for everybody.
Yep. Very well put, sir. I think that category is super fun. I know you guys were looking forward to seeing who would win that, and we've got a related category to that coming a bit later, but not just yet. Right now, we're going to flip you guys to submission of the year. Let's roll the nominees, Danny Palm.
Danny Palm.
We back. Submission of the year. You guys just saw the nominees. There are some really good ones, as well as, I want to say, a very late addition to the party with Elijah Davis against Aaron Harper back at BitB 15. So he just squeaked in with that win and put himself in the running. So let's see if he won. Luke Payson.
Yeah, it was a sleeper.
Literally. Yeah.
Well,
Quite
yeah,
literally.
I think all of these submissions.
Sleeper nominee.
That was nice.
I think it's always fantastic when you think about submissions or knockouts, that getting finishes. It's always exciting in MMA. Winning good decisions are also very exciting. I think we like it. I got the opportunity to call most of these fights, and so it's very exciting. We're gonna just
That was back when you were our color commentator.
Nice.
Look at that face.
I am jumping in.
You made him blush.
I'm jumping in to the winner for the 2022 first annual 247 Fighting Championship submission of the year. Winner goes to Justin, the General Patton. Super excited. I'd be excited if anybody won, but for those who were listening to the broadcast, I constantly refer to the Von Flue choke as the Von Prue choke, giving credit to Ovince St. Preux for doing it 4 times in the UFC, actually more than the original Von Flue did it. So it's one of my favorite submissions. I've talked to the General about it a lot. We've talked it through on MMA Fancast. I think the Von Prue choke is super devastating, particularly from certain positions of side control, or even setting up for mount and then dismounting. Go back and watch that. A quick plug for 247 Live, right? They get the access to the whole catalog. I had the privilege and the honor not only of announcing Justin, the General Patton, who's a friend of mine, as the winner, but also I got to announce it live. It was super exciting. We couldn't fully see what had happened until we saw the replay, but given his body position, I started getting excited when I was thinking that it was a Von Prue. So,
Von Patton now.
Von Patton now. Yeah.
Von General.
The things that get Luke and I excited are totally different.
I do get very excited. I could talk for a long time about the Von Patton choke. So
we've got a very special treat for everybody watching this podcast, and that is that we are actually going to show you that submission right now on the broadcast. Let's play the clip, Danny Ball.
10, rolling the Berg 10, 247, Patton in on a double, and he gets it.
Justin could maybe punch from this position. It's almost a stalemate. There's almost not a lot of activity. Chip Snyder's watching.
Frankly, I'm surprised Chip has let it go on for this long. This is clearly a
He's out. He's out.
Wow.
He's out. The Von Prue. The Von Prue. We called it. He did it right when we said you could see the face change for Armstrong and his arm go limp. It was, our bodies were blocked.
Yes. How did you guys like that? Put him to sleep with the quickness. As soon as he posted up, got a little more shoulder pressure going there, Josh Armstrong went out very quickly. That was like you said, I like the word you used there, devastating. You could tell, very devastating choke, and you can hear Dempsey in the corner. I don't know if you guys could hear it on the broadcast, but he's out, he's out. Dempsey was stoked that Patton obviously finished that choke. That was a huge win for Patton, too. I think that's part that needs to be said in the context of that submission, was that he was coming off that quick submission loss to Sean Souser with us and bounced back with that quick submission win. So that was huge for him, not just in terms of, submission of the year. It was a cool, rare submission and all that, which is great. But it was a big win for Justin, just in a career sense. So awesome. Shout out. Just, I was going to say Von General again. When you said it, reminded me of Von General, made me laugh. Anyway, Justin Patton, submission of the year.
And Justin Patton had almost had another opportunity to get another submission in December, but his opponent was not able to pass some medical testing and getting him rematched in a short period of time wasn't able to happen. He is going to be on the April 15th card, which tickets are on sale at 247fighting.com. The really cool thing, so
sales are moving already.
Yeah,
it should be. Yeah,
there's well, we kind of slyly, announced we normally don't put tickets on sale until people aren't ready to buy tickets most of the time. We're 100 days away from that fight right now. That seems like an eternity, and guess what? It happens fast.
Yep.
So get your tickets now. It's going to be an amazing, absolutely amazing show. So we're looking forward to that.
I just want to shout out real quick, Russ Green from Go Green Windows and Construction might be the biggest Justin Patton fan in Pittsburgh, and you just saying that he's going to be involved in it, because nobody knew that yet. You just saying that we're targeting him for April. Russ Green is 100% standing up in his house right now cheering, and I appreciate that.
Go Green, one of Justin's sponsors, as well as a sponsor of 247. Huge into the MMA market. If you're buying windows in Western Pennsylvania, call Go Green.
Awesome.
They're a no-brainer choice. Great guys, great people. We're super appreciative. They're amazing.
Heck yeah, love it.
But ultimately, these are 5 fantastic submissions.
Truly.
We're looking forward to the submission game in 2023 being very strong. We had a really awesome like an elite level submission in 2021.
Yeah.
If that, I can assure you that if that were, if we had these awards in 2021, that would have been sub of the year. Can you guys remind me
the
what
Goga Plata, Sean Tarleton.
Goga Plata.
Yeah.
Goga Plata.
So
Insane.
we look forward to another awesome year of grappling and submissions, and yeah.
I want to give one more quick shout out on this category to Wendy and Nunson. That back take that she hit on Carly Jo. Wow. While a back take isn't a submission, obviously, it was just
Light speed.
that back take was insanity. So shout out Wendy. And also her crew, we talked about how Julian rallied the troops to get votes. Her crew went nuts on our post today, voting for Bonesaw, Wendy Bonesaw. So that was really cool to see. She's got a crazy, promising career ahead as well.
Congratulations to all the nominees. You guys are all really impressive, super deserving of the nomination, and you guys could have all won this, but Justin Patton picks up the big W.
There it is.
And I feel like some of these categories kind of continue to tease later categories because Miguel Francisco is later listed as a potential. He's a nominee for AMI fighter. And so I think it kind of makes sense that great gyms, great coaches, we've talked about that, the up-and-coming fighters putting on incredible wins, incredible shows. So an encouragement to anybody who's currently training or already at a gym or even just looking to get into MMA, that when you start hitting things right and start doing stuff, you start getting the recognition, because we can see how the recognition kind of goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. And just to transition from there, we've got a fun one. Buck of the Year coming up.
That's right. That's right.
So that is awesome. I'm very excited for Buck of the Year.
That is, yeah. It is the official category.
Mooney of the year.
Yeah.
Let's explain it so
And
everybody
he
knows.
actually, I didn't even know that. He has the card too. That's fun.
Gym of the year.
Of course,
Yeah, well,
of
that's
course he
why.
does.
That's why he changed his name.
Gym of the year is the next category.
I am Gym of the Year,
I mean, you're Jim, and this is a year.
and I am of the year, yes.
Let's roll it.
Roll it. Got you. You guys just saw the nominees there for Gyms of the Year. And if you are plugged into the Pittsburgh MMA space, probably not too many surprises there. These are some super heavy hitters. These have been gyms in the area for years and years and years and years. Everybody around here knows these gyms. Shout out, by the way, our video intern, Dylan Cole, on that sick edit and all the sick edits that you guys are seeing tonight. He's doing a phenomenal job, and from the time he started with us till now, it's really cool to watch him grow. Like, these videos are really, really well done. When he started, Ryan, you know this, like, we had a lot of, you gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, like, fix this, fix this. Now it's like, that was good. We're gonna run that. Yeah. So shout out Dylan, man. You're doing a phenomenal job, and it's awesome to have you as part of the team. So,
And just
Gym
to,
of the Year.
just to add to Dylan Cole, Dylan came on as an intern with us. We kind of thought that he had video experience. The guy taught himself on the go. Like, yes, I want to be involved with you guys. Yeah, I can do video. We assumed that meant he was experienced at it.
Right.
He
No.
learned it.
He literally taught himself.
What a great job! And if you haven't seen it, the video he did for Ethan Goss was amazing. So check it out. Check out that video, Dylan Cole. If you need work done, Dylan will do a great job for you. So boom.
Boomity.
Good job, Dylan. We expect more of it now.
Yep. Now do
All
better.
right, so on to the actual winner here. So one thing I wanted to point out for Gym of the Year, each of these gyms that has been nominated has had a fighter in one of the top two promotions, UFC and Bellator, for each of these gyms.
Great point.
So, yeah, and it's really a testament to the coaches, the teams that are all involved in pushing each other and getting guys to, their their ultimate talent and facing top level talent. Okay, so the winner for Gym of the Year.
That looks better that way.
Yeah, it does. Stout rocking Gym of the
I
Year.
didn't know.
Cleaning up for Stout.
That was a close one because Indio Dojo was undefeated at 7-0 and had a win over Stout but now granted the body of work was almost double with Stout, so you had twice as many
literally
chances
double,
to win to lose, but really incredible by both of those gyms in 2022.
Yeah, that's a flip a coin for a winner on that for me. I remember in the voting, Matt Factory actually had the most volume, if I recall. They had the most fights for us. It was above 500, but barely above 500.
I think it was 10-7,
something like
11-7.
11-7. There you go. And Academy was a similar story. It really did come down to Stout and Indio, and it was really fun at BitB 15 with Tanner facing Logan Pryor, and we knew like somebody's O was going to go. And Indio did win the head-to-head, but the fans decided, and we decided, that apparently Stout is taking home the victory here. I genuinely don't remember who I voted for. I know it was one of those two, though.
Yeah, and it's not like the previous categories where we had winners all like led to the outcome for this. This is just how it played out,
right.
Because it could have gone either way. And each of these categories, any one of the nominees could be the winner. Just you have to pick one. In some cases, we pick two, but
right. And it's fitting to see, Wilkins and Morrill winning Coach of the Year. It makes sense that Stout would then win Gym of the Year as well, because you can't have a great gym without great coaches. So yeah, I don't remember who I picked for that. Indio 7-0, man. That undefeated in MMA. I just want to say, like, that's tough to ignore, man.
You picked Indio.
See, I knew because I think. John Jones is the best fighter of all time, and if he's not, Khabib is the best of all time. And the reason why is because they're both undefeated. I know Jones has a loss, but it's a crap loss. We all understand that.
It's not a real loss.
Right.
You didn't actually lose the fight.
Right. So, like, being undefeated in MMA, for me, just personally, that trumps all. Like, we start here, and then if all things are equal, we'll consider something else. But if somebody has a loss and somebody doesn't, then, okay, the undefeated team gets it.
I disagree. Because I look at
Luke's like, let me talk about GSP and how his losses don't matter.
I'm so close.
if we could only talk more about GSP, can we talk about GSP? Yeah. But no, I loved. It depends. Like, I could vote for a fighter that has a loss over a fighter that doesn't have a loss if the quality is like, if you overcame like certain, it's all part of the story, right? Mm-hmm. And so I don't necessarily think wins and losses are the total barometer. I think there's a lot of factors. That being said, Indio Dojo and Stout were both insanely qualified to win this.
Absolutely. What a good year. And how fun was that it came down to a Stout versus Indio fight in a sense. That's awesome. That was good times. Good times. Oh,
so congratulations, Stout. We expect more of you now.
I think they'll oblige. We're about to head into even more fun things, ladies and gentlemen. My personal favorite category is coming up, and that would be Knockout of the Year.
Let's see the nominees.
Those are disgusting,
Yeah.
dude. We had some phenomenal knockouts in 2022. I mean, in another year, any one of these easily could have won.
Was that Kaiser knockout? Was that our first elbow knockout?
Might have been.
I think so.
It really might have been.
I mean, we saw that Lowry sick elbow, but that wasn't a knockout.
It didn't end the fight.
and that was on the
Changed the
ground.
fight,
This was
yeah.
a totally different
Right.
But when you talk about elbows in 247 fighting, like there's none like Kaiser's.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And Kaiser primarily being known as a grappler, that was surprising, I think, to many to see him unleash an elbow like that standing.
And it was sneaky too, because it was uptight against
Yeah.
the
From the
cage.
clinch, you think of sometimes elbows being thrown
Yeah.
in space. He threw it from the clinch, and he had been talking because you never know how somebody's transition to pro is going to go. And a lot of guys, I think it's important when you transition to pro to be thinking about those added weapons. Tom had been talking quite a bit about wanting to use added weapons, and every time he would put in their elbows because obviously you get head kicks and knees and then elbows. So it is probably the best setup in the sense of you mentioned John Jones earlier. He's thrown some of the best in space elbows, like almost as punches, just in his rhythm. But I think from a Muay Thai clinch up against the cage, quick break and right back into it, it's something at the pro level that I think people can really start using quite a bit.
Yeah.
And Jim, you mentioned the word sneaky.
Yeah.
Comma worthy jabbing someone to like almost oblivion was completely how does that even happen? Like it was awesome, ridiculous, and
Shotgun
just to
jab.
run through these.
Oh yeah.
Flannery's knockout of Nyoff, I mean, literally face planted him. It was such a memorable moment. It was the show. So just full disclosure, the attendance at that Johnstown show was not anywhere near where we needed it to be and wanted it to be and all those things. Everyone who decided not to go missed out on crazy fights. Like you really missed out. As a matter of fact, there was someone that mentioned on the other day on one of our posts, "Are you coming back to Johnstown?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Your fights there are always so much fun. We would love it. We have to go to places. We have to be at places that, you know, we can not lose money at." So, but the like not going to that show, everyone lost out that didn't see that. That was phenomenal. But Flannery, LaRocca, after his brutal back and forth at that same show, comes back the next time in Monroeville and 9-second, 12-second knockout, something like that.
Insane.
I think
Just
10.
absolutely phenomenal. And Josh Versoki, that was the other
That
Flood
was
City
also
Fight
on the
Night
Johnson.
2. What a crazy knockout. I mean, the pictures we have of that knockout, the video we have of that knockout. If you're ever looking for the pictures, go on to, is there an easy way? Go to Smug Mug, search for 247 Pittsburgh.
Go to our Instagram, click on our link in our bio. It has like a bunch of landing pages of things that we have, and our Smug Mug is one of those landing pages.
You can view all those, you can download all those, you have all access. But some of those photos
Insane.
from that fight in particular, they were just crazy, awesome, good. What a great list of nominees for Knockout of the Year.
Dude, could anything better exemplify when you said that if you didn't come to that card, you missed out? Literally 2 of the Knockout of the Years are from that card.
Yeah, it's crazy that you really missed out.
And then if we would have done, these awards for the year prior, there would have been a nominee off of the first Johnstown card
with
for
Kraus.
Fight of the Year.
With
Fight of the Year
Fight
too.
of the Year
Yeah.
and Knockout of the
And
Year
knockout.
because that Dempsey
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking
T-Rex
of Kraus.
Oh,
Kraus is
Oh,
award.
Kraus.
Yeah.
Johnstown
And
cards
submission
were
of the year.
ridiculous.
Corey Burchick put Nick Falk to sleep
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I mean,
Crazy
dude,
stuff happening
insane.
out there.
Johnstown, something in the water. But I did just see the winner, so the surprise is ruined for me. But you guys can enjoy it. Who's it gonna be, ladies and gentlemen? Josh Versoki over Des Ford. That left hand was pure filth. I know. Listen, Julian, I'm going to talk to Julian for a second because I'm sure he's disappointed right now. Because Julian rallied the troops so crazy, and a 9-second knockout is a 9-second knockout. It's unbelievable, dude. Visoki's was the most picture perfect knockout in 247 history. When you think of like that perfect, clean one shot, that was it. And the way Dez fell, the way Dez stopped. You know what, Danny Palm? Why don't you just play it for people?
Yeah.
Boom. So, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. And I also put pictures at the end of that clip. So I like that you said, look at the pictures from that. I did like a little series of photos from Paul Luke, who, amazing. Him and Chris Bermudo take such good photos. You know, Ryan kind of said, go check out Smug Mug and download the photos. But like, just want to emphasize that real quick. Please do that. Like, our photographers are so insanely talented and good at what they do. And you guys just need to go see them. Like, I get excited. And I'm sure you guys all do too. Like, I get excited for those photos to get uploaded so I can go like relive, like, oh, what'd they get?
Yeah.
And it's always awesome. It's always awesome. So
Yeah, they're part of what sets 247 FC apart from other organizations is those two guys, Chris Bermudo and Paul Luke. They're phenomenal. They're head and shoulders the top photographers in regional MMA, bar none.
Yep.
Period.
Facts. And nice. And for Visoki, the knockout, you know, he talked about it in studio, and we've seen it a billion times at this point. It's just one of those moments for him. Like I said, it's that one clean shot. That's what really differentiates it for me against these other knockouts. You could definitely make the argument for Kaiser's elbow. I could see that. La Rocca, again, if 9 seconds is 9 seconds for Julian, then 9 seconds is 9 seconds for La Rocca as well. That was an amazingly clean right hand. And then Kama. Okay. Kama's is great on the broadcast, but I have a video from cage side of that final ground and pound shot landing that is one of the most disgusting MMA videos I've ever seen in my life. I think I sent it to Kama, so I think Kama did post it on his Instagram, but his precision, like that jab that set him down is wild, but the precision on the ground and pound shot that put him out is just insane. It's insane how hard and how clean he hit him on the ground. And it was like a shotgun blast in that arena. It was just filthy. But all of these are amazing, for sure. Any five, I don't want to get punched by any of these guys. Let me be clear. But Visoki's taking home the award today.
I mean, I could look at this whole page and I don't want to get punched by any of them.
Right. Nice. Knockout of the year. Super fun one, guys. We are going to stroll straight into the next one. Just a little dicier competition. There is a lot of tight competition in this one.
One thing before we do that, I apologize. I just want to give a shout out to our friends at Sunny Days In-Home Care.
Nice.
Great sponsor. They are a knockout as well. Like the best, the absolute best there is. If you're looking for in-home care, there's no other choice but Sunny Days, and they're great people. I'm friends with Nick. I'm friends with the gang there. Like, they're awesome people. And when you support Pittsburgh MMA needs to support you. So if you're watching this, your friends, like you know anyone that needs in-home care, nursing care, taken care of, Sunny Days is the only place you should be calling.
Nailed it. Absolutely. So we're going to stroll into the next category. We are on the 8th category out of 10. This one is a good one. Fight of the year. Let's roll it, Danny Palm. those are, yes, phenomenal fights.
Incredible. Every single one of those fights should win.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I just want to reiterate something that Luke actually mentioned earlier. If you guys want to watch any of these fights, you're already on the place to watch it with 247 Live. So wherever you're watching this podcast right now is also, whether you're on the app or on the website, is where you can also watch all of these full fights to see what we're talking about. Now, we did play clips of the submission of the year and the knockout of the year. We are not going to play the full fight for you guys once we announce this. I'm very sorry about that. But who's got this? I don't even know who's got this on.
I got it. Yeah, I got the envelope.
Got it.
Because you made the match.
You matched it up.
That's right.
That's good. That's fitting. That's fitting.
So just to recap, well, go ahead. You were going to say
Danny
something.
was like,
This one's me, bro. This is me.
All right, so recap. We got Starner, Allgaier. I got some show prep notes on here. And fight number 1, Starner, Allgaier. I had high level technical. DeLong and Moore. I have Chin and back and forth. Albright Pippins. So like Albright Pippins, the first thing I wrote down was mad, and that was to cover Justin's like come out in the second round. It was like he was mad.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, was that around the time that that Heinz Field was changed to
That
Acrisure?
could be.
And, like maybe
he was mad about
yeah,
That
Isaac
could
said,
be.
"Hey, they changed the name,"
that.
and he
That's
came
what he
out.
told him at the...
Yeah, and he said, and I think Isaac said, Albright's responsible for the name change.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
He
So
probably
we got
told him
that,
it was
yeah.
Albright Stadium. Acrisure, Albright. I see it. You can mistake that.
yep. So I had Mad, Chin, No Give Up. That was for that bout.
Perfect.
For Darucci and Wabi, I have Chin and Toughness.
Oh, God.
Hootley and Dan Walters, I have Rock'em Sock'em.
Nice.
That was an awesome bout. And then Worthy and Roller, this is simple. There was no real loser. You know, somebody comes out at the end of the fight with, mark on their record and then on the negative side. But in this one, there wasn't, and we talked about the reasons why. And for Josh Roller, big step up in competition. And he's in my opinion, and I think collectively for us, he's ready for that next step to the big show.
Yep.
So, okay. So with all that said,
He's got me hyped just thinking about these again.
The winner for how we say this 247 Fighting Championships first annual. No, it's not it. First annual fight of the year. It goes to Kama Worthy and Josh Roller.
Goodness.
Wow.
Wow. Kama is sweeping up the awards, man.
I think
Unreal.
there's something to be said about a super high level pro fight.
Yeah.
That it's different, and that's what set that apart. Like the Starner Allgaier fight was your super high level amateur fight. Your Worthy Roller fight was your super high level pro fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very well said. And it's a longer fight. I mean, you've got 15 minutes versus 9 in Cam and Hunter's case, and 6 for some of those other ones, some of the novice amateur fights. So that Kama Roller fight, and then ending, of course, with Kama retiring. And I will say, man, like a lot of people felt very sure that Kama won that fight. I did not. Like just watching it, I thought he did. Don't get me wrong. I thought he did, but I also thought, man, there's a chance that Roller just won that fight. I was not sure before they announced that decision. So that, and of course, a fight of the year is kind of always that case, right? Like you're really not sure who won. So it did, I will say, looking at this, that was the closest decision to me. I feel like there is a clear winner in those other ones. Obviously, one of them was a finish, but even in the ones that did go to a decision, I felt like there was a more clear winner than in the Worthy Roller fight.
Agreed.
That's what I got on that.
When have you ever seen the four of us not talk?
With nothing to say. I thought I entered like the Twilight Zone or something for a second. Yeah.
So for from my perspective, that was the fight So some of them, like you characterized as like back and forth, rock'em sock'em. Like the fight that ended up winning was just two guys that were doing things at super high level. Like there wasn't necessarily back and forth. Some moments Kama had, some moments Roller had, and I think that there was never a point where you thought, oh, this might finish, except there was a moment when Roller decided to,
pull guard. Yeah.
And that's when that's the only time I thought something bad could happen until he did that. I thought,
right.
But yeah. And the other thing I'll say is when you have like these split decisions and you have like these close, like every fighter and every coach on their team, like feels like they had every round.
Right, right.
So like when you go to a decision, like I can't say it enough, like if anything was semi-close, you should not be confident going into the final round. Like you shouldn't. If it was at all close, even if you won, but it was semi-close, you could have lost. Like you seeing things through your own goggles, it changes things.
I went and rewatched all of these recently just to refresh my memory on some of them, and man, I highly recommend you all do the same. Like these are such good fights, and Hunter Starner is now, I believe, 2-0 as a pro. Yep. So he beat Cam, went pro, and is now 2-0. His career is just taken off like crazy. So to have that high level of an amateur matchup happen, that you don't see that very often.
You almost never see
almost
that.
Never.
Like it's a real treat to see two guys that high level.
They came into that fight 6-0 and 6-0, and
crazy.
I will always give credit to both fighters and to both gyms, but also Buck Mooney over there for putting together that, because it's hard to get that high level amateurs who would in some ways be better off going pro with undefeated amateur records. So it was an incredible fight. I think every one of those fights kind of shows why people should be getting the subscription to 247 Live, because you get the whole bank. And I think as 247 enters another year and another year, you'll start seeing people's entire development. Cam Allgaier entered that fight 6-0, but started his career as a 0-0 debut at the first ever 247 card. So I think the more you... Second.
It's close.
It was Brawl in the Berg,
That fits. That fits.
Okay. So very early in the time. So I think it'll be really cool to watch people. I've said it on the show, even though it wasn't the fight of the year, but Tom Kaiser won an amateur title and then comes back and wins a great pro debut. And I think you'll start to see more and more fighters transition from amateur to advanced amateur to title fights and then into pro. And it really just shows what 247 has to offer from the beginning all the way up to the top.
Yeah, perfect segue. I was just going to say, because you mentioned development and talking about going to 247 Live, you can look at a fighter and see him develop throughout his career. Just by coming to one of our shows, you can see that from the first fight through the end, how it progresses into the different levels that you're going to see between the fighters. We start off with novice, go to advanced amateur, and then finally to the pros. And even with the pros, you know, there's levels to that, you know, as the fighters come in with more experience, you know, underneath their belt.
Congratulations, Josh Roller and Kama Worthy, on a much well-deserved 2022 247 Fight of the Year.
We expect more of you.
I love that, always getting thrown in. We're going to end with 2 Fighters of the Year categories. Amateurs first. This is our 9th category out of 10. Who's got this one? I'm not sure.
I do. I'm absolutely honored. Okay. I have the Amateur Fighter of the Year award. I think we're going to watch. We're going to roll tape on them.
Let's see the nominees.
I forgot. Yes.
Back.
Yes.
That really does show how incredible the AMI fighter nominations are. We've got 7 fighters on this list. As we've said before, any one of them are deserving of the win. I'm just going to run down their names: Tim Bailey, Elijah Davis. Some of these were also up for AMI Newcomer of the Year, and I love how you'll kind of see the fact that, again, if you're looking to crack into MMA, make an impression early, and you can be considered for a whole bunch of stuff. Julian Flannery, Miguel Francisco, we've already been talking about most of these fighters. James Padmore, Lucas Sniper Siebert, and Tony Welsh. And are we going to say anything else, or do we go right into the drum roll?
I think from our perspective, when we voted, I think we kind of weighted like advanced AMI a little bit because like it's a harder level of competition. You're facing more experienced guys. Like you're a more experienced guy. The competition's higher. So just keeping that in mind, that was certainly a conversation that the staff here had.
Sure. And that certainly makes sense. And so for the 2022 247 award winner for the Amateur Fighter of the Year goes to Julian Flannery. Round of applause. Yeah. Honored to get to read the name Julian Flannery. Just an incredible year for Julian. Amateur Fighter of the Year, very well deserved. Also, to Ryan's point, advanced amateur in those wins as well.
There were a lot of very qualified. So you take a look at who were the advanced guys here. We have a lot of great guys, but Julian Flannery, Miguel Francisco, those two were the ones that were advanced AMI and really had amazing years. Really had great finishes, had great performances, and congratulations to Julian Flannery. Yeah. That is walking into to face 2 guys and taking them out in like single digits or just barely double digits. Like it's just insanely awesome.
What he did was crazy, and this is a very, very well-deserved win for Julian. And plus, as we said at the very beginning, fan voting was a huge part of this, and Julian definitely rallied the troops. I would say, I don't know, again, I didn't know who won. I don't know how the votes shook out. I would say that fan voting might be the reason Julian won. I don't know, but he definitely had that in his favor, and I want to say this is so fun. Julian and Miguel both DM'd me, understanding that they were probably the front runners for this, being advanced and everything. It kind of went without saying that it was going to come down to those two. They agreed to come in next Friday, so that's January 13th. Nice. Friday the 13th. Perfect. Julian and Miguel are both going to be here next Friday to do a hot sauce tasting, like hot ones.
Like hot ones.
They're going to eat increasingly hot sauce until somebody taps out. And the winner of that is going to actually win the amateur.
They already agreed to do this.
They've mutually agreed to come in here because they knew it would come down to those two and duke it out with hot sauce for the real winner. And I am stoked for that.
So the fan vote did matter in this. The 247 staff vote was split between those two.
Oh, wow.
So it was 2-2. And then the fans were the ultimate decider of the winner of that.
That is crazy.
Now, I was able to get a peek at the submissions, and I saw something that looked suspicious with the emails that came in. I saw Jules Flino at gmail.com, jflonays at gmail.com.
Jflonays.
Yeah, jflonays 1 and 2 at Gmail. So I don't know if there's anything there with Julian and him,
That's
pumping
beautiful.
the votes. So
we're
going to launch an investigation and have the results next Friday.
One of the things I wanted to comment on is almost so for those of you that don't know, here's how the voting worked. There were 4 staff members, actually the 3 you see here at the table now, and Danny Palm, they each got 1 vote. So there were 4 votes from the staff. And then the fan vote counted for 3 total votes. 2 votes from for the winner and 1 vote for second place in each category. Unless the winner got more than 75% of the vote, which this is part of what I'm getting into. So if the winner got more than 75% of the vote, they get all 3 of the fan votes.
Yep.
The fan, the voting was the cool thing is, so out of those 7 votes, almost every person on the sheet got a vote. So that's the really cool thing, that there was so much competition for these that, there weren't many that didn't get one of those 7 votes in these categories.
Right. Yeah, definitely spreading the love for sure. And on that note, I know we've shouted out Sunny Days and Go Green Windows and Construction. On the topic of spreading the love and everybody getting a little bit, Arias Agencies is so invested in local MMA, and they're another one of our incredible sponsors. And I just wanted to shout them out before we get to the final category, which is Pro Fighter of the Year, our biggest category. Save the best for last, of course. Arias is so involved. Like, Simon and the whole crew there, they sponsor fighters. They sponsor us. Simon, you can find him on the mats at the Mat Factory. He's a brown belt himself in jiu-jitsu. He's super involved in the community and always giving back. And they're a really interesting organization in that they're trying to build not just careers for guys, but try to build like leaders of men. They're very into that whole kind of David Goggins mentality. Like, be a better person. Be better than you are. Like, be better tomorrow than you are today. They're very into that. If
you should take them up on that.
Hey, what? Someday. Maybe 2023 is my year, right? But I think Ferdoz Naimi actually was just on the podcast and said, Simon texts me every day, mind, body, spirit, MBS, mind, body, spirit. Like, it's more than just what you're doing in your occupation or as a family. It's your whole being. So Arias really embraces that. And I just wanted to shout them out while we're talking about our amazing sponsors, because they're a huge part of the local MMA scene in general, and they're also building, on the theme of AMI Fighter of the Year, Next Wave. They're building that next wave of great men as well in Pittsburgh. So shout out to them. You guys are awesome, and we certainly appreciate it. And I know you guys will be definitely. Arias is interested in the Pro Fighter of the Year because I know they sponsor Common. I believe they might sponsor Justin as well. So they've got a couple horses in the race, so to speak.
And you know who else has horses in the race and who's involved with those guys is the Rehab Center.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of our sponsors that fixes these guys up and makes sure they're ready to go. And they are also huge sponsors of ours. We could not be. They sponsor almost every event of ours and have been there from almost day one. So we could not be more thankful for our friends over at the Rehab Center. I know Isaac's not watching unless he found some Wi-Fi. He's like deep in, where is he at?
South America.
South America. He
Patagonia.
Yeah, and he doesn't think he didn't think he would be able to find Wi-Fi tonight. But if you did, Simon, we love you guys at the Rehab Center. Thank you for all you do. If you need work chiropractic care, the only place to go in Western Pennsylvania is one of the 7 awesome locations at the Rehab Center.
Truly.
Thanks for all you do and supporting local and Pittsburgh MMA.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That being
You guys
said,
are awesome.
We're getting into the final category.
This is it, yeah.
That's it.
Play the final
Are you guys ready?
I'm pretty ready. Oh, you got this one. Nice.
Yeah.
Best for last. I see. What do we got?
And eat 3 very deserving nominees. Every one of these guys makes a extremely strong case to win.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah. How can you even pick? We had to, but anyone, like you said, anyone is very, very deserving. And all unique circumstances. I think we talked about Kama earlier, career resurgence, comeback of the year contender. Justin had kind of that career defining year, I feel like, where he stumbled out of the gates as a pro, really found his footing, went 3-1, I believe, with us in 2022. And Goss winning and defending the title. Yeah, title fight, undefeated, like that goes a long way as well. So they all have very different circumstances and very different stages of their pro careers. So that makes it a pretty fun little showdown. I don't know who won at all.
Yeah, you don't know who won?
No, I have no idea.
You guys don't know who won?
But I do want to say that somebody,
Yeah, what is this?
Ethan Goss, I want to actually just read it to you. Ethan Goss texted me before the show started and said, also, if I lose the awards tonight, I'm rioting and sabotaging Ryan's podcast studio. Just make sure you tell Ryan what I said on the air.
Unbelievable.
So there you go.
There's pressure there for that announcement. You sure you want to
on the
say
card
the winner? Yeah.
already? So I'm going to read whatever's on the card.
The different types of pressures each one of these guys went through to get onto this list as Pro Fighter of the Year.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So let me ask you guys this: when you're looking at these three in particular, what are your things you're thinking about? I know the records, is that all you're thinking about? Are you thinking of in-fight specifics? Are you what are your
Level of competition? I think it goes to everything. It goes to level of competition. We have matchmaker Buck Mooney over there, and I know I've talked privately about some of the matching because Buck takes pride in putting together really tough fights. I don't think any of these three fighters were given any tomato cans or gimme fights. These are most of them, I would say all of them fought as the main event because these the title fights and the big main events. And so I think it's taking it in almost like my love for GSP. You got to look at the whole career.
There it was.
And in this case, the career in the span of a year because we're focusing on 2022. But I think you got to take what career you saw of them in the year of 2022. What do you think?
I mean, to me, I think it is the whole package.
Yeah.
It's the types of fights that were had. What were you expected to win? Like where would the line have been? Would you have been a heavy favorite? Would you have been a slight favorite? Would you have been an under? Like where were those? What were the stakes? Was it just another fight? Was it a title? Was it a must win? Was it a I just lost and I can't lose it? Like what were those all weigh in? And I truly think each one of these guys is fully capable of winning this award. That being said,
There's only one
there's
winner.
one winner.
There's one winner.
And this is an area that I want to explain exactly how this happened and how I didn't want this to happen. So,
Well, how didn't you want it to happen? Go there first.
Oh my.
So all of the fighters had at least one vote. Okay. Of the 7 votes. So there was 1, 3, and 3. Which means that I had to tie break it.
Nice.
You sure you wanted to announce that?
Did you want to announce that?
That's
So,
bold.
I'm gonna. There's 3 guys that could be here shortly.
Well, only 2 because there was the other one I couldn't choose. I was not allowed to choose the one that had 1 vote.
Right.
So,
But they don't know who the one was.
there was. I'm going to tell them.
Oh my.
There was a vote for Justin. Justin got 1 vote. Kama got 1 vote or 3 votes, and Ethan got 3 votes.
Oh, wow.
In case you don't know, Ethan Goss and Kama both have a very special place in my heart personally, as well as what they've both done for 247 Fighting Championships. They were both on the first card, and just to kind of back up a little bit, there were people that wanted us to fail. And and those two were a big reason why that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so I'm forever indebted to both of them. Both of those guys are true friends of mine and are true, well, one of them might not be a friend of mine after tonight because I did choose one. And so that being said, I love you both. And now to proceed, we have the 2022 247 Awards Professional Fighter of the Year goes to the Wolverine, Ethan Goss.
Nice.
The reigning,
Nice.
soon to be defending.
I had no idea. That's awesome.
It came down to he fought for a title. I felt like he was an underdog. He took the fight as an underdog. He won the belt, and then he defended it in what I thought he was at best a coin flip. All of Kama's fights, I felt he was the favorite. And so, and there was a title on the line. So that's ultimately what I based my decision on. I love you both, truly. Like I'm not saying that with any bit of sarcasm. Right? Like those are my guys. Like we're friends. Like I love them. And, and Ethan and I and Kama and I joke a lot. But truly, I'm forever in debt to those two. Congratulations, Ethan Goss, 2022 247 Fighter of the Year.
Nice.
We expect more of you now.
We're getting more of Ethan now as
Now,
well. That's confirmed.
That's the last time I'll ever say something publicly positive about Ethan Goss.
Wait, you said you were friends with him.
I was.
Yeah.
No. Until I got threatened.
Yeah.
True.
We literally,
Very true.
there were two
yeah.
cards in here, and I just pulled Ethan's out because I was scared.
That's awesome. So Ethan, fun. Like I mentioned earlier, how undefeated kind of trumps all, and I definitely agree with your line of thinking there, Ryan. Winning and defending the title, going undefeated. When you look at Pro Fighter of the Year, what is a pro fighter's goal? It's to get to that next level. For somebody like Ethan, it's to get to that next level. Winning and defending regional titles is how you get there. Like in terms of a career-defining year, he did exactly what you would need to do as a pro fighter in his situation, and it goes like. It's kind of, I don't know how to put it, under the radar a little bit now, but Ethan struggled early in his pro career. He's not a 8-0 guy that had all this hype. He was a 500 fighter that just very recently found his groove big time and dominated some, as Ryan said, some very tough opponents. So he came out from looking like this 500, like I might just be a journeyman my whole life, to where you at, Bellator? You know, he totally flipped the narrative on his career. So I think for those reasons, I totally agree. I'm pretty sure I voted for Ethan. I don't know, but
the staff, the staff votes were 2 for Kama, 1 for Ethan, 1 for Justin.
Wow,
so just
that's amazing. That's amazing. And Justin's volume was crazy. Fought 4 times and fought extreme. You talk about being the underdog.
Was ready to fight 5.
Yeah,
like he would have fought in December.
That underdog fight versus Rico Talley, I think people really need to look at the fact that Rico was coming in from a huge gym, 3-0. But I think Ethan the Wolverine Goss, not only is he the most handsome, because I've always said he's the most handsome broadcast partner I've ever had. He knows that.
I didn't even think about those two chumming it up.
Are you serious?
Is it the unbuttoned dress shirt that does it for you with him?
I love
it's all of it. It's all of it. Ethan the Wolverine Goss is my most handsome broadcast partner, and that's saying something because the other Ryan is quite handsome as well.
And Cole as well, dude. Cole's
they're all handsome.
Cole's a heartthrob.
Absolutely. Got that. I mean, that's an awesome award to end it. I genuinely
incredible.
Thinking as kind of like a promoter, content creator, I could write an article about why any 3 of those guys could win, and I think it could be very convincing. Like there are very strong reasons to be made for all 3 of them. So that's an awesome category to end it on. I mean, yeah, that's sweet.
We turn the page. 2023 is approaching. We're promoters here, guys. We're going to have a huge show in April 15th at the Meadows Casino, Hollywood Casino at the Meadows. folks, it's going to be amazing. Following that up with in July, in Monroeville at July 15th. And then we're going to follow that up in October 21st at the Meadows again. We're looking to add some spots as well in there with some different things. If you look at what happened in 2022, the things that we did, 247 Live, the podcast studio. If you think we're stopping now, we're just getting started, guys. This is going to be a huge year. Subscribe to 247 Live, buy your tickets. We're rocking and rolling. Let's keep this thing going.
Yeah, and while we're mentioning the next show, I mean, we might as well just say it. April 15th, the Hollywood Casino. Ethan Goss just won Pro Fighter of the Year. He's defending that title against a super tough guy, Calvin Harbaugh, who just came in and wiped out Shaka Worthy at BitB 15. That is a crazy title defense for him. And we mentioned earlier with Gym of the Year, how Stout and Indio were kind of the two that it came down to. We've got a Stout versus Indio matchup already signed, sealed, delivered for that with James Leto and Ken Burrs. Insane collegiate wrestling. Two of the top middleweight amateur prospects in the nation throwing down against each other. And those are just the first two we've announced, guys. Like, we're looking to blow this card up.
That bout is one that you would want to see when it's for the money.
Right.
And we're bringing it to you before they even get there. So
that fight is such an incredible, that's like prospect of the year kind of like, these are two guys that are going to be, like I always say this, if they continue down this road, because this is a tough road to go down, they could both be at very, very high levels at Bellator and UFC for sure.
Yep. It's very true. I mean, I've said it like at least 6 times now, but that next wave is coming, and like April 15th is the next step in that journey, man. And that goes for Ethan too, because it's funny that you think a pro fighter with that many fights, he can't be a prospect, but in the national sense, he's still a prospect. Like in terms of Bellator UFC exposure, this could very well be the fight. If he goes in there and finishes Calvin or wins a very dominant decision, I don't think we're going to have Ethan fight for us again. I really don't. And that's a great thing. I want to say, like, we want Ethan to go to that next level.
Well, you consider where he came from. You mentioned earlier in talking about this that he stumbled out of the gates for his pro career and had a rough go at it. He was facing some top talent. And
he never turned. I mean, he just took every fight.
Yeah.
And
to his detriment.
Right,
for sure.
But it got him to where he's at. Same thing with Kama. That's how Kama came along, and it got him the experience he needed to take it to the next level.
4 out of 5 now wins for him. If he wins this, and we're not taking anything away from his opponent. We're just talking about the local product and things that we get to see, with 247 and watching, these guys and girls progress through their career. And I just think that it's neat to get to know Ethan, to see him I don't want to say get his career turned around because he's always had that talent. It's getting his record turned around. And so now, 4 wins out of 5 coming into his second title defense. And then if he wins this, that's 4 in a row, 5 out of 6. I mean, he's got to. He's got to get some recognition from the 2 big shows, plus what Dylan Cole has done for him in that crazy video.
I mean, when you're a guy that lives where no one's ever been, and and what was the other line?
I can relate. I forget what he said.
I live. Oh man, I thought I had
said
it.
Something awesome. He did say something really cool.
No one's ever heard of me. I live where no one's ever lived, and it's a great quote. I was gonna harass him about it, but I forgot the quote. Danny Palm, got any input on that?
No, we don't got it.
Just to give you some perspective, we are very close. We think we might be within days of signing Miguel Francisco, a title fight at 135 pounds. We think we're very close to signing that. We have some other fights that are signed. We have some other fights. who are some names that of guys that we're either close with or that we know are going to be on the card?
Well, I would say that
Evan
Lee coming back, Drucci coming back. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of great talent going to be on this card, guys. I'm stoked. I know we're promoters and we say promoter stuff, but I truly think that this card has the potential to be like the best environment we've ever had, some of the best fights we've ever like. I'm super stoked.
We forgot a really obvious one, and that's Lucas Siebert versus Tanner Cahill. As long Siebert has a fight coming up in February, if he gets out of that uninjured, we're already confirmed on something. That's
a
happening.
fight.
That's happening.
Both sides have agreed to the fight. We don't have signed contracts because Lucas has a February fight. Lucas actually needs that February fight for this fight to take place in advance. So
exactly.
That's perfect.
Oh, what a banger, dude! This card is so sick. It's seriously so good.
I'm literally like, I've never been, I get so excited for cards and all that stuff, but at this stage, like we're 100 days out and I've like, it's crazy how excited I am for this fight. Danny Palm.
What you got for us, Danny Palm?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Danny nominated for podcast show producer of the year?
He was. It was a unanimous.
He lost.
Unanimous win.
He lost to Hello People.
Nice.
There it is.
Right.
There it was. Ryan was like, no, I can't do that right now.
Anything else for...
I mean, the only thing I'll say, and it relates to the April 15th card, is just the 2 official fights that we talked about that are already announced and booked and signed. I think that's a card in and of itself. Anything on top of that, and that's not just me talking about how excited I'll be, but I mean, you're talking about quality fights that matter, and then you've got another 8-9 fights that are going to wrap themselves around that and even make it just better. And obviously, I'm honored to be a part not only of the 247 Fighting Championship family, but also I think tonight is part of history. We just made history tonight going through the first 247 award show, and I think, 10, 15 years from now, it'll even be more important who won in the first year, because you always go back in time and think, well, where were they? The nominations. And hats off to all the nominees again. It just goes to show how important just getting your name on this list as a gym or a coach or a fighter, it really does matter. And I think we'll see that from years to come, that we're going to have a lot of the similar nominations going on.
Yeah.
So just something I wanted to point out, and I sent this to you before, you and Hunter, and it was a pamphlet. It was a program from an old promotion in Pittsburgh.
I ignored everything you sent me.
I know that's why I'm really just talking to Luke and Hunter right now.
Exactly.
So
perfect.
But what I'm referring to is a December 17th, 2016 show. And it was, an old promotion in the Pittsburgh area. It was a staple for a while.
That was
Pinnacle, yeah. That was Pinnacle Series 15. We just did on December 17th, 2022, Brawl in the Berg 15. And I sent that to you guys so that you could see the talent that was on that card and how 1 through 15, how that talent developed in the Pittsburgh area. Take a look at, past cards of 247s, and you're going to see the same thing. And in, 5-6 years, you're going to look back at Brawl in the Berg 15, Brawl in the Berg 16, and you're going to see these names that are moving on to the big promotions, UFC and Bellator, and having highly successful careers.
And I think there was a stunt to it with 2-year period of COVID. Like there was definitely, I think it would be a different, we'd be at a different stage right now. I think it was kind of pushed back. Like I think we lost probably, a year and a half of that. We were able to have some shows, but ultimately like it was a real slowdown. It was a real, it was difficult to just continue. Proudly, I think we're the only Pennsylvania promotion that had a show during the pandemic. We had shows that were all pay-per-view. it's actually a part of how this whole 247 live journey even started. So there's good that's come out of it, but ultimately I think there was a lull because of the pandemic, that if that would have never happened, I think, the maturity of the Pittsburgh fight scene looks a little bit different right now.
Yep.
And so, the sky's the limit, guys. Like we can build something great. I think we're doing things that no one else does and no one else has done. Like, who else has like the cameras that we have? Like, who else? Like, okay, I'll tell you who. The UFC. Who else has a platform like 247 Live? I'll tell you who.
UFC
the UFC.
Fight
Bellator.
ESPN Plus, yeah.
UFC, Bellator, and
PFL.
PFL, and bare knuckle. Outside of that, who else has this platform? It's phenomenal. Where else can you go on Roku, on Apple TV, and see it on the big screen without having to do all this crazy stuff? Like, we are driven to make this thing amazing and grow this thing and hop on board, because the train's rolling.
It's coming.
Get on now.
It's coming.
2023, I view 2022 as the year, like, after the pandemic.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore. Like, let's keep rolling. Let's keep growing. Let's keep this thing chugging along.
Coming in April, man. That card's going to set the tone for the rest of the year, and we're just going to roll. I mean, it's super exciting.
And we're working on stuff. Hunter's always working on this new stuff. I keep throwing these things at him, and he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, let's go. Let's go.
And they're exciting.
They
when
are
you guys
exciting.
see what's happening. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting in 2023. I'm hyped. You guys are getting me hyped.
So he's probably working on 50 things, and 5 of them will come through, and you're going to be like mind blown. So,
and then there's 45 more in the chamber that will be like, whoa, there's
Good job,
more.
Hunter.
Yeah.
We expect more of you now.
Nice. Perfectly played, sir. Mr. Buck Mooney closing it in style. Hope you guys enjoyed the awards show. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was a 2-hour show. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Look at us go.
And can we give a couple more sponsor plugs?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Price Industries, those guys, they're a commercial finishing company. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough right now.
Nice.
Sorry about that. They're a commercial finishing company. They've been sponsoring us for a very long time. They're awesome. They just want to support us. They invite a bunch of people out. They take up a couple tables at our shows and have a great time. We're so thankful for them. Grandview, you do awesome work. Grandview Financial Partners, or Grandview Financial
Wealth Management.
Wealth Management. Yeah.
Goodness gracious, Ryan.
I'm the worst. Well, I mean,
You're bad with names. I'll give you that.
yeah, but that's a
It's a name.
proper noun.
Of sorts.
I'm bad with proper nouns.
Yeah, there we go. Loophole.
The Allegheny Marines, we love our military. Anyone that's been there, we donated. This is a year, like, I can proudly say we donated over $15,000 towards the Vetix.
Yeah.
And Allegheny Marines jumped on board in 2022 as a sponsor. So glad to have them. They sponsored 2 separate events. We look forward to plenty more events in 2023. And lastly, but not leastly, 247 Roofing Solutions.
Nice.
Gotta love those guys.
So good at what they do.
I mean,
You have to love
really
the guys
are.
that
High
do what
quality.
they do, right?
in all honesty, like, I know I'm like tooting my own horn. We are just as driven to do things at such a high level with 247 Roofing
Yeah.
as we are in 247 Fighting. So my partner, Paul Skivington, he's a great guy. He, myself, and Danny Palm are the 3 staffers, and we have a great crews as well. We'll do a great job for you. Call us, 412-212-6444, 247roofpgh.com.
That's it. Solid plugs, my friend. I want to give you one more thing, Ryan, to have a little fun with. Ethan Goss
Yeah.
texted me.
I saw it. What did he say to you?
He said, "I got the car warming up right now." When we were talking about how
if
he
he
might,
has- yeah.
and then a couple minutes later, he said, "I'll go shut it off now."
He
Nice.
said to me at 9:01, which is only 4 minutes ago, you must refer to me as Mr. 247 now.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, I mean,
Well, and if I can tease 2023 a little bit in relation to Ethan, the Wolverine Goss, he just texted saying that he's going to defend the title of 247 Pro Fighter of the Year for
wow.
2023.
Defending all the titles.
Here's the,
there
here's
you
the
go.
problem. Here's the problem, Ethan. If you win this next fight, you are only going to have one fight.
Right.
Very possible.
Right.
That could still be, who knows? That could still be enough.
Could stand. You never know.
I'm going to say that there's going to be some pros that really step up their game. We thank you all, man. This has been awesome. It's been an awesome year. I want to let each one of you all know that there's a reason that you're in the position you're at. I really appreciate all of you do. You guys put so much dedication, heart, and effort into everything you do. I don't take that for granted. I know my personality. I know I'm not always I'm not going to let you take a breath. I apologize for that, and I'll tell you that's why we do things different than everyone else. But I recognize that you guys are the soldiers here, and that you guys do such awesome stuff, and I'm thankful for all of you. And so, you guys are amazing.
Nice. Well said. That's a perfect close.
One more plug.
You expect more of us now, right?
There you go.
and you're just getting started.
Yeah.
And to my loving and beautiful wife,
Nice.
she has really endured. So we started this company. I worked full time at a different remodeling company, and started a new remodeling company. And my wife, the hours that I work and my obsession with doing things at such a high level, I'm literally always, my brain's always preoccupied with this stuff. And I apologize for that. And I thank you for being the best wife I could ever have, and my kids. And I really want to do better at being a husband and a father. So yeah, that's my New Year's resolution.
Nice.
Stop sucking at being the family.
This got very sentimental here at the end of the award show.
Well,
Look at us.
I do know that what we do takes a lot, and
Yeah.
it takes a lot out of us. And Jim works full time and does this
Yeah.
in addition to
Crazy.
And Hunter doesn't really do much of anything.
I don't do anything at all, even for you.
No, but Hunter also has other things that are part of his employment network.
That's a good way to put it. yeah.
And Danny works, between the two companies, where he's our utility man for everything.
He gets the double dose of Ryan. Actually, that he might be the biggest
He
trooper
has
of
to.
all.
You guys don't see me every day.
Right.
He sees me every day.
He experiences
His
Yes.
life
this every day.
sucks. So
Hey, grab a Snickers, Danny Palm. You've earned that. Some Sour Patch Kids, big heads, maybe.
all right,
Nice.
you guys have anything else?
No, you summed it up.
I can't follow that. I can't
Did
follow
it.
that.
It's great.
Sacrifices made, for the award nominees here, for the nominees, not just the winners, but you can go down the list and see sacrifices made to get to that point, and it carries on with us also. Everybody's got to do their part in making this successful, and if we want to keep it, the trajectory up, have to continue making those sacrifices, and we have to keep talking to you.
Yep. Absolutely. Very well said. I want to thank everybody who watched the awards show and watches the podcast and has supported 247 Live. This is as Ryan said, it's a big part of what we're trying to do that differentiates us from other regional promotions. It's not an accident that we're doing all these things and that we're launching this network, that we have apps now, that we have a live streaming platform, that we have a place, as Luke said, where coaches and fighters can scout like if you want to scout a fighter, we have so many fights on 247. Every fight we've ever had,
Every fight.
you can watch them all. You can watch Justin Patton with shin guards on all the way up to now as a pro. Like it's incredible to watch the progression of these guys. So it's a really cool thing that we're building, and we can't do it without everybody involved.
We actually don't have any patent shin guard fights.
We have Cam Allgaier shin guard
do.
fights.
Yes, you
Okay,
do.
we'll go to
Not
that one
bad.
instead.
Yeah.
Dang. He had to be close.
had
No, he
advanced
was like
amateur.
5
Yeah.
he was like 5-3 before.
Really?
He had an advanced amateur fight. That's
He just
it.
has so many
5
pro
and
that
He
I
had
feel
one.
like
He had one AMI fight with us, and it was against
Cam
Cam.
against
against
Cam.
Cam.
I just
But
had
we scheduled him for he was scheduled for Roosevelt Archie. He was scheduled
Okay.
and then he had this series
Fair.
of craziness.
he did have a wild.
He's making
run.
up for it though. He's having a wild run of fighting
Yeah,
17 times.
That's
a
what I
year.
was gonna say. That just speaks to because I just sent a coach all of Patton's footage, and I was like, dude, we have 6 Patton fights on 247 Live. Like that's crazy. It's the most probably by anybody. Edwin, Patton, Goss.
Edwin, Goss,
I don't
and
know.
Edwin, and I think they're tied.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I haven't checked in a little
Yeah.
while. I'm sure Goss is going to be texting us. Call me Mr.
It's me.
247.
Mr.
You already know the answer. But yeah. So thank all of you for helping build this network as well as we continue to grow it. It's awesome. Things like this award show, you're going to see more stuff like this, more live stuff, more Danny Palm as well, which the world needs more Danny Palm. So thank you guys for joining. And if you watched on stream247live.com and you have a Roku, Apple TV, iPad, or iPhone, get the app instead. We love you being on the website, but honestly, the app is better. It's objectively better.
You can bookmark the website, but also download the app in
Right.
every place. You should have it on your home screen.
Yep. Facts. Thank you guys. And congrats to all the winners. I don't even think we said this. Maybe we did in the beginning when I was working out the audio issues, but you guys are all getting trophies. Like, just so you know. Like, we're ordering physical trophies for you guys. We will follow up with those for you.
Due to arrive tomorrow. Oh yeah, we'll be getting a hold of all the winners over the course of the next couple weeks to come and present those to you and get those photos, and you guys have a lot to be proud of. Now you have something from us to represent your hard work, your dedication, and yeah.
You guys are awesome. I can't wait for April and everything in 2023. Let's do it.
Let's wrap it up with some chickmunk talk.
No, please no. I'm out.
We're the Chipmunks. Alvin, Simon, Theodore.
That was so much fun. It was incredible. That was a great show, guys.
He can't